Today we are going to discuss a very important step in a disciplinary proceeding, which is a preliminary inquiry. How a preliminary inquiry is to be conducted, what is the purpose, and how a report is to be submitted will all be discussed during in this video. Before going into that, I would like to just discuss with you regarding the various steps in a disciplinary proceeding or disciplinary action. Any disciplinary case starts with an issue coming up either through a complaint or an issue brought out during a vigilance check or during the inspection, or it has come to the knowledge of the authority in a routine way. But once it is started, if you found that there is a misconduct or an activity which is illegal, so generally it starts with a decision to go ahead with the disciplinary proceedings. The first and foremost step is a preliminary inquiry. Why a preliminary inquiry is required, what is the purpose, we will discuss subsequently. Once after the preliminary inquiry, the report is submitted, the disciplinary authority will take a decision what action to be taken further. Sometimes the preliminary inquiry proves that there is no misconduct, it was a false alarm, the case can be closed then and there. Or if it brings out that there are violations and there are people responsible for the violations, then disciplinary action has to start against those individuals. Or maybe we may close the case with administrative actions or corrective measures to avoid any such occurrence in future. Once we have decided to go ahead with the disciplinary proceedings against certain individuals, the first step is to issue the show cause notice and given sufficient time to reply to the show cause notice. The reply is obtained from the persons who are accused or again who are responsible for the misconduct. The show cause notice is to be issued by the disciplinary authority. Once the reply is received, again it is analyzed. Maybe that once we are satisfied with the reply, the case can be closed then and there based on the decision of the disciplinary authority. If it cannot be done, if you feel that the reply is not sufficient enough, the conduct is serious one, the misconduct is serious one, then we may go ahead with the disciplinary proceeding, disciplinary action against individuals, and then at that point we have to decide whether it is a gross misconduct requiring action under major penalty rules, rule number 14, or a minor violation which can be closed with a minor penalty under rule number 16. Once we decide that it is a major penalty case, a major misconduct requiring an action under major penalty proceedings, then we will be issuing a memorandum of charges, generally called as a charge sheet. Once charge sheet is issued with all details or evidences whatever included in the charge sheet, which we will be discussing in a separate video, the reply of all the accused people under this are obtained. The reply to charge sheet is obtained. Again the case will go to the disciplinary authority. If he has given satisfactory replies, if the individuals are given satisfactory reply, maybe the case can be closed with action, without action, or maybe with administrative action. Or if it is not, the replies are not satisfactory, then we have to proceed with an inquiry under rule number 14. In the proper proceedings are given, how you have to proceed with an inquiry under rule number 14, and subsequent to the completion of the inquiry, obtaining the inquiry report, scrutiny of the inquiry report, and final decision is taken on the case. One major point here is, before issuing the charge sheet, once we have decided that we will be going ahead only with a minor penalty, the decision is to be taken very judiciously, because once we decided that this is a case is a minor misconduct requiring only a minor penalty and action is proceeded in that line, then we cannot later decide and go back to a major penalty. Whereas if you are deciding that a major penalty is a major misconduct requiring a major penalty, we can issue a charge sheet under major penalty. After getting the reply and after conducting the inquiry, maybe he may be given only a minor penalty. But remember that once a charge sheet is issued under major penalty, Once he gives a reply, at that point we cannot close the case with a minor penalty. We have to conduct the inquiry, then the decision can be taken, either minor penalty is to be given or a major penalty is given. So these are the major steps in a disciplinary action. Now we will discuss about the importance of preliminary inquiry and how it is to be conducted. A preliminary inquiry is also called a fact-finding inquiry or one-man inquiry. The rule says that a suitable person may be detailed once a complaint is received or as case has come to the notice. A preliminary inquiry or a one-man inquiry or fact-finding inquiry, as it is called, shall be constituted with one man, a suitable person who is having a knowledge about the particular field, shall be detailed. There is no restriction regarding the rank or the status of the individual, but preferably if you know that the persons involved, preferably you should be senior to the persons involved. If you do not know who are the persons involved, it can be any suitable officer, can be detailed for this job. Remember that it is not mandatory to conduct a preliminary inquiry, but it is always preferred, because preliminary inquiry is a stage where we collect the evidences in the case and goes into the detailed checking of the veracity of the complaint. Sometimes the complainant for malafide intentions may give wrong information, wrong facts. So it is very much required that through a preliminary inquiry the veracity of the complaint has to be checked and they collect the right evidences to take the statement from the witnesses or the people involved, and then to pinpoint the names of the responsible persons. That is very important. If the action is to be taken, we should know who are all responsible to what extent. That is the purpose of the preliminary inquiry. I have seen that in many of the cases which I have been dealing, the preliminary inquiry is not done in a proper way. It is not in a detailed manner, it is not in the way in which it is expected to be done, and once the preliminary inquiry is not done properly, the whole case is spoiled. Either it will result in exonerating some people who have really done some misconduct, or punishing a person who have not really done a misconduct. Both ways it is possible. So a clear, correct preliminary investigation based on facts and figures are required. The first step towards this is when you are ordering a preliminary investigation report, remember that preferably it should be a one-man inquiry. It should be a person who is having the knowledge of that field or subject knowledge, and the terms of reference of the preliminary inquiry should be clearly defined. Generally, I have seen that a preliminary inquiry is given with a single line to investigate into the allegation. That is not sufficient. The terms of reference should be clearly defined. You say that so and so complaint has been received. To investigate the allegation, you are directed to investigate into the allegation. Remember that a preliminary investigation is not against a particular person. It is only about a particular case. So it is not an investigation against a particular person or a group of persons. It is only to look into a particular case and collect the facts. So the terms of reference it should be clearly told that to investigate into the allegation, to bring out the facts of the case and collect the evidence. The most important factor is to collect the evidence. That should come in the terms of reference. Then you should bring out any violation of the rules. The preliminary investigation should specify which are the rules violated by whom. To pinpoint the persons responsible and the role of involvement of each of them separately. If he is giving the involvement as a group, it is very difficult to take the disciplinary action against each of them. So you should specify what is the role of involvement of each of them. Then if required, he shall record the version of the persons whom he is marking as responsible. It is not mandatory, but it is preferred, and as per the latest directions in our department, this has become mandatory. In a preliminary inquiry, if you are naming some persons, please record the version of the person as responsible, make them understand this is the allegation, what is your version, and also you should take the version of the other people connected, which you feel is connected with the case, and this version shall be recorded and put in the report. Remember that the time of completion given for completing a preliminary inquiry is maximum 3 months from the date of ordering the preliminary inquiry. Gentlemen, in case of disciplinary proceedings, the times are very sacrosanct. The times given shall not be violated. Try to complete for each proceedings, try to complete the proceeding within the time limit. Once the inquiry is ordered, the inquiry officer should start conducting the inquiry at the earliest possible occasion, before the evidences are destroyed, before the evidences are manipulated. So it says, rule says that the moment it is ordered, you should start the investigation at the earliest possible occasion. First and foremost is you should collect all the evidences whichever you feel is in support or is against the allegations given. The original should be taken by the investigating officer, shall be recorded what the evidences are given, and that is the most important aspect of a preliminary inquiry. You should start with the introduction as to what are the allegations, how it has been ordered, how he has become the investigation of the preliminary inquiry authority, what are the gist of allegations or what are the issues he is going to investigate should be numbered. These are the investigation, these are the points which I am covering in my investigation, and these are the points which are needing proof. Whether it is some proof is given in the complaint or not, either these are the points which are needing proof for which I am conducting the inquiry. The next step is what are the actions taken by the investigation officer on getting the inquiry order, the order of inquiry. You should say that I have gone to that place, I have checked these things, I have met these people, I have collected these evidences, and this charter from this date and complete on these dates. In this case, dates are also very important. In any disciplinary proceedings, the action dates are very important. Everywhere this shall be recorded. And then you should list out what are all the evidences collected by him, what are all the statements he has recorded, which are all the people from whom he has recorded a statement. Then each of these evidence collected shall be evaluated as to how important this is, how much it is proving each point in the allegation or not proving the allegation. The evidences can be supporting the allegation or maybe against the allegation also. After evaluating the evidences, you should arrive at what are all the violations observed. Violation of the CCS conduct rules, what are all the violations observed, or the policies of the department, what are all the violations observed, you should point out very, very clearly. And then name the persons involved, and their level of involvement of each person should be given separately. And in the conclusion, you should give facts and figures. That is very important. When you are submitting a preliminary investigation report, never give exclamation marks. You are not supposed to give exclamation as this is a very huge misdeed or this is a gross misconduct. Such wordings should not be there. You say misconduct, there is a misconduct and this is a rule violated. It is for the disciplinary authority to decide whether it is a gross violation or a small violation or it is a major thing or a minor thing. You are not supposed to give such exclamation marks in your preliminary investigation. You remember that in a preliminary investigation report, you should bring out all facts and figures only. Submit evidences collected. When you are bringing facts and figures, I mean to say, if you have brought out a figure or a fact, supporting evidence should be there and it should be connected. Where from you got this value or where from you got this fact? You cannot include something from a hearsay. You should say, as per this inquiry, we found that so and so person has procured stores, but this many crores based on the following evidences, based on the following like supply order numbers given in appendix A, what are the supply orders, this is the total amount collected. So that evidences should be there, evidences copies also should be there. Should clearly show the rules violated. You simply should not give your opinion as it seems as if he has procured a lot of stores. You cannot simply say that with my experience I say that this stores procured is very large. such things cannot be there in the investigation report. You should say that he should have procured the stores worth 1 crore only, whereas he has procured stores worth 3 crores. Or he should have procured stores worth 10 lakhs only in the supply order as per his authority, whereas he has violated the authority and procured more stores. So that should be clearly mentioned as to what are all the rules he has violated, and should name the persons involved. It is a very important aspect. When you are naming the person, I have seen that in most of the preliminary investigation report, what they will do, they will ask the name of the people working in that area or in that particular workplace at that time and include all the names. It is a very easy way to do it, because they think that afterwards let them come and clear themselves. This should not be done. You should name the persons who are really involved, and you should mention in the investigation report how they are involved. If as a disciplinary authority, if you are getting a report without mentioning the personal involvement, the persons involved and their involvement, and that connection is not properly done, please send back the report and get the report corrected at this stage only. Even if you lose some time, at this stage only it should be corrected. As an investigation officer, if you are detailed as an investigation officer, please ensure that you will name only persons who are really involved and you have proof that he is involved. Just for the sake of being on the safer side, putting all the names will not be proper, because unnecessarily you are putting somebody in the disciplinary net, which is incorrect. In the same way, you should not leave a person whom you have got enough proof that is involved, his name should be written, and how he is involved, what rules he has violated should be clearly brought out in the report. It should be clear and transparent, that anybody reading it will understand that this is the reason why this person is involved, name is put, and this is what he is supposed to do and what he has not done. You should know what is the duty of that person, or what are the duties entrusted to him. He will become involved only if he has violated those duties. That also you should remember. For somebody's fault, you cannot, if for the fault of A, you cannot name person B. That has to be very clear. You should bring out lapse of each person and arrive at a recent conclusion. Remember that the time of completion is 3 months, and try to complete it within that time. If at all you want to this exceeding, there should be a valid reason for that, because time is very much an essence of this whole proceeding. And also remember that in a preliminary inquiry report, you should not recommend the nature and type of penalty. You should not recommend, at any point of time, you should not recommend disciplinary action shall be taken against individuals. You should not write. You should only bring out the facts, figures. You should give the list of evidences, and what is your conclusion regarding whether there is a misconduct or there is no misconduct. Who is involved and what is his misconduct. Whether it is a gross misconduct, whether it is small misconduct, whether action is to be taken against him or not to be taken against him, should not be written in the preliminary investigation report. As a disciplinary authority also, you should not insist the investigating officer to write the recommendation regarding whether action is to be taken or not to be taken. That power lies with the disciplinary authority, not with the inquiry authority, not with the preliminary inquiry authority. That is also a very important factor. So these are the important things which you should keep in mind when you are submitting a preliminary investigation report. I am again telling you that preliminary investigation is a very important step which will form the foundation for the complete proceedings thereafter. So when you are ordering, select a right person, and if you are conducting as an inquiry authority, do with full dedication and full commitment, and bring out the right facts, bring out the right person's names, so that your report is the only paper. Remember that the preliminary investigation report is the only document along with evidences which will form the basis for further action. The disciplinary authority need not go again and search for documents. again search for evidences, need not again go and search for the witnesses. This should all be given in the preliminary investigation report. And once the report is received, based on the report, if there is no misconduct, you can close the case without any further action. You found that is a false alarm, you can close the case, or you can go ahead with the action, maybe administrative action, a corrective action in the administrative proceedings to avoid further occurrence. Or if you feel that there is a misconduct and some persons are involved, you can go for disciplinary proceedings. Or if there is a criminal violation of a criminal proceedings, IPC, then you should proceed with the criminal proceedings by reporting it to the right authority. Or there may be cases which require reference to CVC, that has to be done. And one last action is, if you found that it is a false complaint with a malicious, vexatious, unfounded complaint, you have to take action against the complainant also. The complainant is known, action shall be taken against the complainant also. That is what the preliminary investigation is for and how it shall be conducted. Thank you very much.